Howdy hey everyone, and a couple of months ago I started a series in which I'm giving every single Pokemon without a signature move one to call their own. This is part 6 of the series in which I've done the first 4 generations and half of Gen 5, and so this video is going to be the other half. So, before we start, let's set some ground rules. So if a Pokemon, or any other Pokemon in their evolutionary line, has ever had a signature move, regardless if it's been taken away from them, or if they have a regional form which has had a signature move, like for example, regular Slowbro doesn't have a signature move, but Galarian Slowbro has Shell Side Arm. So, if they have one of those, they don't get a signature move. In other words, if Bulbapedia says that they have a signature move, they don't get to be on here. But without further ado, let's hop into the first Pokemon. Maractus gets Thorny Dance. It's a 100 base power physical move, which is pretty good, but it lowers the user's attack, as if, like, the thorns that it uses to attack the user with have broken off their body and are now inside the target, and thus they have less spines to attack with, and have a much lower attack power. Crustle gets the move Crust Crush. Gotta love some alliteration. It's a 110 power rock-type move that lowers the user's defense. A lot of rock-type Pokemon need actually good physical rock moves, and so something like this might be able to help it be good. It's a little bit weaker than close combat, but at the same time, Crustle's usually more of a physical wall than anything else, so maybe it doesn't really need it. A lot of Scrafty's dex entries reference its kicks, and so it gets Backhand Kick, a dark-type physical move with 65 damage that deals increased damage if the target has already used a status move that turn. It's like they're going behind their back to kick them. Sigilyph is a fun one. It gets the move Glyph Cast, a Psychic-type status move in which the target becomes weak to Psychic-type moves. It's like they put a spell on them, cursing them to take more damage from psychic moves. Cofagrigus gets the move Mummy Wrap, a ghost-type status move that acts as a leech seed for ghost types. It also traps the target, so it's kind of just, I guess more accurately, a wrap variant that also heals the target. Karakosa gets Pressurized Fin, a water-type physical move with 100 power and has a chance to make the target flinch. No reason, it just felt fitting. Archeops's Featherstorm is a flying physical move with 100 power, hitting everyone on the field. Essentially a flying-type earthquake. I mean, it needs a powerful move like this in order to balance out Defeatist. It's not good. Garbodor gets the move Waste Bomb, a poison-type special 90 base power move that lowers the target's special attack. Chinchino gets the move Sweep Up, which is a normal-type status move that removes all hazards from the user's side, as well as all terrains. It's like they're cleaning up after everyone. After all, Chinchino is based on a feather duster, and chinchillas would like to be really clean. Gothitelle has this really big theme of space going on with it, so it gets the move Astro Beam, a Psychic-type special move with 100 base power that gains a power boost if used during nighttime. I feel like a lot of moves are dependent on external variables, like, oh, is there sun? Is there a terrain? Is there blah 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 blah? But I feel like the time of day doesn't really affect anything, especially in Sun and Moon, which it would have been perfect. So I think that a move that gets powerful during nighttime is more interesting. Reuniclus gets Reunion Pulse, a Psychic-type special move that becomes more powerful the more Psychic-type Pokemon are on the field, referencing how Reuniclus are said to hold hands in order to make their Psychic powers grow stronger. Swanna is based on the story of the Ugly Duckling turning into a swan, and since that story is about Ugly Duckling turning beautiful, and Swanna's whole deal is being beautiful, Elegant Gaze is an interesting move. A water-type status move that lowers the target's attack and speed. The effect is doubled, sharply lowering the target's attack and speed if used during Aurora Veil, since that would hypothetically make Swanna look more beautiful. Vanillix gets the move Snow Strike because it's made out of snow, or I guess it I guess it decorates itself with snow? I don't know. An Ice-type physical move with 70 damage that becomes a Water-type move in harsh sunlight, as a reference to how ice cream will melt and become liquid if left out in the hot sun for too long. I don't think there's any moves quite like this. I mean, there's Flying Press, which changes type depending on what would do more damage, but there's no move that changes, like, due to an external thing. Emolga gets the move Drop and Grab, a flying-type status move in which the user swoops down, steals the target's held item, and then switches out. I think it's pretty interesting as a reference to squirrels stealing food. Technically, Emolga is a flying squirrel or sugar glider or whatever, but I think it's a silly, whimsical idea. And who knows, it might actually have some room in competitive, because items are everything in competitive. Excavalier gets the move Piercing Spear, a steel-type physical move with 90 damage that does increased damage if used first. Similar to, like, when jousting, you want to hit first, because otherwise you would die. Amoonguss gets Blinding Powder, a grass-type status move that lowers accuracy, because Amoonguss needed to be even better than it already is. And I think it's funny. Jellicent gets the move Stinger Arm, a water-type physical move with 70 damage, and has a 50% chance to either poison or paralyze the target. It's very similar to Sneasler's Dire Claw, except it doesn't have a chance to put the target to sleep, because it's based on jellyfish and how they use poison to paralyze their prey, and so I think giving it a chance to do either of those is interesting, but it also, like, why would it put them to sleep? It's stupid. Alomomola gets the move Healing Scales because it's a healer Pokemon. It's a water-type status move that heals the target for up to half of their max HP. If they have a status condition, that would be healed instead. Ferrothorn is always kind of a wall that's used to stall, and so I think an interesting move could be Magnetic Barbs, a steel-type hazard that sets up the Magnetic Barbs field hazard. Not only does it hit flying-type Pokemon, which are normally immune to hazards on the ground, but it also does increased damage to non-grounded Pokemon, like flying types, Levitate, and Air Balloon. I think it could be really interesting because it might make your opponent, like, think twice before swapping in flying type, which I think is pretty cool. I've always thought that Electros is kind of interesting because it has the one big sucker mouth, but it also has two smaller sucker hands, which kind of look like their mouth, and so I kind of used that to weave that into the move. The move Triple Zap is an electric-type special move with 65 power that hits 3 times, with the first being full power and the other 2 having reduced damage. Similarly to Dragon Darts, the signature move of Dragapult, the first attack would hit whoever you select in a double battle, but the 2 smaller attacks would hit both targets once. Behem gets the move Memory Flash, a 65 special psychic-type move that prevents the target from using their last used move for 5 turns, playing into the aspect of Behem being based on the Men in Black, who, one of their biggest things is they have the light things, the flash thing that makes people forget things, and that's also in Behem's Pokedex entries. Chandelure, aka my goat, gets the move Smoldering Souls. A ghost-type special move with 120 power has a chance to burn the target and damages the user. You should know I'm a sucker for moves that have a chance to inflict a status condition despite not being the type usually associated with that status condition. In this case, a ghost-type move that has a chance to burn instead of a fire-type move that burns. Haxorus gets the move Axe Head, a steel-type physical move with 85 base power and has a tiny chance to lower the target's attack by 2 stages. I like to think of this as the target's slashing around and then cleaves straight through, cleaving your arm off. It's a little gruesome, and Pokemon most likely wouldn't do that, but maybe, I don't know, I'd find some kind of justification for it. Beartic gets Cryo Claws. I'm running out of ideas. An Ice-type physical move with 70 base damage, and has a chance to lower the target's speed. Why does it lower speed? Good question. I have no idea. Cryogonal gets the move Absolute Zero, an Ice-type physical move with 150 damage, with the only caveat being that it can't use the move twice in a row. Pretty much an Ice-type version of Gigaton Hammer, and just like Gigaton Hammer, it's exclusive to a Pokemon that's not really good, so it can't use it to its full potential. Great. Mienshao gets the move Ribbon Whip, a fighting-type physical move that does 40 damage and hits 2 to 3 times. On top of that, it also has an increased stage of priority. I didn't want it to feel like just another punching move, and so I feel like the combination of hitting multiple times and having increased priority is justified. It fits. Druddigon gets the move Dragon Hurl, a dragon-type move that does 110 damage with no secondary effect. That's it. It just is a really high damaging dragon-type move, which I feel like Druddigon can use. Mandibuzz gets the move Bone Beak, a rock-type physical move with 80 damage, dealing super effective damage to other rock types. I like to think of it as the concept of using bone tools to break other stone, which is pretty interesting. Durant gets the move Heat Resist, a steel-type status move that, if the target is hit by a fire move in the same turn as the user uses this move, they won't take any damage and instead will have their speed lowered by 2 stages. This helps negate the Durant's 4 times weakness to fire and would counteract heat more a little bit, so that it's not just such a one-sided fight. But to counteract, they will have their speed lowered by 2 stages, as a reference to, like, their stone bodies melting, so it's much harder to move. And finally, we have Hydreigon with the move Dry Beam, a dragon-type special move with 40 damage and hits 3 times, as well as having a high critical hit ratio. It's kind of similar to Eelektros's signature move. Hydreigon also has these miniature heads on its arms, but considering it's a pseudo-legendary, I wanted to give it a more special move. And that's it for today. Sorry I seemed really rambly for today. Almost this entire video is unscripted, so yay! Hopefully the next video will be better and not take as long. And with that being said, see ya, and stay safe.